Before we do anything funny, we need to clear up one thing. 0 times infinity is not a static times static problem. And that's why this gets confusing. If the expression were truly 0 times a number, there'd be no discussion. 0 wins, end of story, because that rule never breaks. But the moment someone writes 0 times infinity, they're quietly doing something different. They're no longer talking about fixed numbers. They're talking about a situation where one thing is becoming 0, while another thing is becoming unbounded. And that's not a snapshot, that's a process. And the moment you have a process, you need motion to talk about it honestly. So let's be very clear. I'll be using shrinking numbers in this explanation, but they won't represent 0 itself, because 0 is solid. 0 is done, 0 behaves perfectly. We use shrinking numbers to represent approaching 0, because infinity never shows up as a finished value. Infinity only ever appears in math as something that keeps going. So while I can say 0 copies of 7 and you instantly know the answer is 0, if I say 0 copies of forever, your brain should hesitate, and honestly you should judge me, because forever what? So here's how math handles it. Think of this like a race. On one track, we've got numbers shrinking towards 0. A half, a quarter, an eighth. They're not 0, they're just getting closer. Each step, they're moving faster toward the finish line. Now, on the other track, we've got numbers growing without limit. 10, 100, 1,000, a million. Each step, they're exploding upward. Now, imagine multiplying the matching pairs. One thing is racing towards 0, and the other thing is racing upward. What happens to the product? Well, that depends on who's moving faster. If the shrinking wins, the result heads towards 0. If the growing wins, the result blows up. And infinity doesn't tell you the speed. Infinity doesn't describe a number. It doesn't describe a rate. It just says this keeps going. So math refuses to guess. Now, that's why 0 times infinity isn't 0. Not because 0 misbehaves, but because infinity never tells you what you're multiplying. 0 does its job perfectly, but infinity just refuses to be a number. Drop a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe.